How did you get onto her?
My office is at 1 PP. I'll catch you up on the way downtown. Anne tried out 3 times for the Olympic equestrian team. Unsuccessfully. She then opened an art gallery which closed after she forgot to pay taxes for 5 years. Followed by a stint as an interior decorator that resulted in 6 lawsuits. All of them settled privately.
Sounds like she hasn't found herself, but why would the Prestwick Foundation want her on the board?
Daddy gave them $10 million.
I got my daughter a job at Target. Didn't cost me a dime.
I'm sure your daughter's more qualified to sit on the Prestwick Foundation board. Anne was discreetly kicked out of 3 prep schools. She finally graduated from a girls' finishing school in Switzerland, where she received credit for flower arrangement.
The poor little rich girl can't cut it in the real world, but she's smart enough to steal $3.5 million. It doesn't make sense.
Don't underestimate her. She's incredibly smart, but she doesn't play by the rules.
How'd she scam the Prestwick Foundation?
Their record keeping is abysmal. No computerized files. They just write checks to deserving organizations.
I'll say $300,000 for the Bed-Stuy Art League, $500K to the Washington Heights Children's Orchestra. Well, maybe she's just overly generous.
None of these organizations exist. Bank accounts are open for each with forged documents, the funds deposited.
And the cash withdrawn? There's the check clear.
The foundation didn't notice until Mr. Prestwick made a visit to the Chinatown Folkloric Ballet and wound up in a pet shop. They were embarrassed and wanted a quiet investigation so as not to scare future donors.
Anyone at the bank ID Anne?
No. The accounts are all opened by a white man, 40s, otherwise unmemorable. Well, her accomplice had to have shown ID. Patriot Act requires verification of all account holders. But with the charity, all you need are the 501c3 papers. But you know, I observed the fraud began as soon as she joined the board. Right after each phony check was cashed, she went on shopping sprees. I've been tracking her spending. She's almost out of funds.
So you've been tailing her, hoping she'd go back to her accomplice for Topo.
But she couldn't. She knew you were following her. Must have realized the foundation was onto her.
Maybe she went to mommy and daddy for money. He said no, she also.
Classic red-collar crime. When some white-collar criminals are confronted and fear they're about to be caught, they can turn violent. Those common targets are the parents.
Ramsey, get out here!
Every time I hear that voice is while I'm about to be bent over.
Chief Muldrow and Mr. Prestwick. Pleasure.
Suspend your investigation into the Prestwick Foundation.
Sir,
The money's been replaced. A board member heard of our predicament, pledged to cover our losses.
Angela,
The donor wishes to remain anonymous.
sir, a crime was still committed.
It's all been a misunderstanding. And Mr. Prestwick would like the Foundation's files back. Load up the records. What special victims doing down here?
Is it sitting up for Ash to join us in a foursome little golf tournament?
This is SVU versus Nassau sex crimes.
Oh, well, Ramsey make a hell of a ringer.
Are you sure you wouldn't like a full report of my findings?
It's not necessary. I'm so sorry we troubled you. Good luck on the links.
6 months of hard work going down the toilet.
Chief Police didn't shut down our case. You want to nail Angela? Work with that one.
The minute you question her, Muldrow will pay your squad a visit.
Not if we question her as a victim. Lady did say she had a stalker.
And we caught you.
I'm so glad you arrested him. Do you think he killed my parents?
I do. But it would help us nail him if you could answer some questions.
Anything you want to know? Well, this is grim. I don't know how you work under these conditions.
Budget cuts. We're used to it. But we're losing a lot of domestic violence shelter beds, counseling for rape victims.
Perhaps I can arrange for a grant in my parents' name.
That would be wonderful. But, of course, first we'd have to convict your parents' killer to avoid any conflict of interest.
Of course. So you are charging him with murder?
Oh, I'd love to. But we don't have enough evidence.
But you have him on tape. At the stores where I was. It can't be a coincidence.
No, but we have nothing tying him to your parents' house or to their murders.
You don't have any fingerprints? No DNA?
Must have worn gloves.
This is terrible.
Well, don't worry, Miss Gillette. Homicide cases never close. Well, it may take some time, but we will convict your parents' killer.
I know he did it. I just wish there was some way we could prove it.
You said that your parents never mentioned being followed or watched.
Not to me.
Is there anybody that they may have told?
Our business manager, Nate Hartman, he handles all of our family's affairs.
I'll talk to him.
Yes. Let me call him first. He's a real stickler about confidentiality. You can ring Nate in the morning after I've spoken with him. I'm very tired. I'd like to go home now.
Well, let me drive you. We can finish up our questions on the way there.
Your partner's good.
Seems pretty confident he'd lie for her to be her accomplice.
Business manager would know how to exploit the Foundation's primitive accounting and open dummy accounts.
Hit him before they get their story straight. What's the emergency? Is Anne okay?
You seem worried about her. Have you talked to her tonight?
No, but I'm concerned about her safety after what happened to Bert and Elaine.
Do you know all the gory details?
Just that they were murdered in their beds by burglars. That's what Anne told me.
And you always believe what Anne says.
Of course. What are you doing here?
In a short while, your phone will ring. Anne is going to ask you to lie for her.
Anne would never do that. She's a gentle soul. She's scrupulously honest.
Who's been robbing the Prestwick Foundation blind?
With your help. Nate, it's over. We will need you.
Unless you answer that phone and do exactly what we say.